I've tested over 100 Apple HomeKit accessories in my smart home, and these are the best ones. Obviously, all the products that I'll be mentioning in this video will be linked down below in the description. I'll be going through a large category of products, from smart lighting, smart security, the best hubs, speakers, curtains, to climate control, to even more professional, advanced Apple HomeKit products like this one. Now let's start off with the Atios Smart Core. Now this is by far something that you probably haven't seen before. It's basically a standalone device that allows you to connect up to 12 products that I'll be mentioning what those are in just a second. The easiest way to understand what this is it basically allows you to control up to 12 lights, outlets, blinds from your home. Keep in mind that these lights or these blinds aren't smart, but thanks to this, everything is Apple Home compatible. So what this means is that you can basically convert your entire apartment, your entire store, your entire studio, your entire home Apple HomeKit compatible or Matter compatible into seconds with simply using this one accessory. It's such a massive potential to any smart home. Just think about the possibilities on what you can connect to it. From push buttons to lights to blinds to door locks to heating to motion sensor. From water valves to garage doors to power outlets to obviously lighting. And lighting is something that is very advanced about this thing because it's actually compatible with DALI 2. Now, DALI 2 is pretty much the go-to in terms of professional lighting out there. But previously, there was pretty much no way to control DALI lights inside of Apple Home, so you can change the brightness, the temperature, until now. There were specific ways to do it, but they were extremely complicated. But with this, it's simply a plug and play, and that's pretty much it. I think if you want to take your smart home to the next level and you're ready to play around with some more advanced Apple Home products, which by the way, once again, this is Matter compatible, you might want to pick one up. All right, since we're talking about lighting, let's move on to the brand new Aqara LED ceiling light, the T1M. So it's basically this very simple, bright, tunable white main light, and it's got this colorful ring around it that you can customize it to a bunch of different colors. You can even use it as a status indicator for your smart home. If you've got a package and a motion sensor just picked it up, it can turn red. The main light in the center doesn't change color, only temperature, but what I love about it is that it's actually got adaptive lighting from Apple Home, meaning that the temperature of the lighting will change automatically depending on the sun, on the position of the sun. So if the sun is cooler or warmer, it will automatically change it for you. There's a bunch of gradient effects and a bunch of colors that you can obviously play around with. It obviously works with Apple Home and Matter as well over the Aqara bridge. Definitely recommend. I've got 4 of them and they're absolutely amazing. I also wanted to talk about my LED strips from Eve. They basically do what you would expect them to do. They are compatible with Apple Home, so you can control them with your phone or via your voice. They're extremely bright, but I love the temperature that they get, because they get extremely warm and extremely cool. And I say that in the best way possible because I feel like there's a lot of LED strips, especially a lot of Apple Home strips out there, that the warm doesn't really look that beautiful orange sunset color, or that white should look pure white, not this yellowish white. And I feel like in terms of Eve LED strips, they do the best job at them. Plus, they've also got that adaptive lighting that I was mentioning about before that changes that color temperature throughout the day depending on the position of the sun. Another light strip that I wanted to talk about isn't Apple Home compatible, but definitely wanted to talk about it either way. It's actually Govee's camera backlight. As I said, it isn't Apple Home compatible, but you don't really need to control it with Apple Home since it kind of works automatically. So it's basically this little camera that you put on top of your TV, and it comes with a big LED strip that you strap on the back of your TV, and the LED strips will automatically replicate the color on what the camera is seeing on the TV. So it's basically the best way to kind of expand your TV. It gives you such a beautiful and very immersive experience that I highly recommend. It is extremely accurate and the colors are just so vivid. Every time someone comes in my home, that's one of the first things that it catches their eye. Let's move on to light switches now, and the Eve light switch is the one that I've got all over my smart home. You've seen me talking about this product before. If you ought to be honest, I'm not a big fan of smart light bulbs because they can tend to be not really reliable at all. Instead, with the smart light switch, it allows you to have that reliability of a physical light switch, so you always know that if you tap that button, it will obviously always work. And then you've got all of the smart features as well. You can do automations with it. You can control the lights via your voice, with Siri. I love the Eve light switch because it's very family proof. It's very easy to understand. It doesn't look like a smart product at all. You've basically got a tap on the top and one at the bottom like a normal light switch. But then if you want a more complex light switch, I feel like Aqara does the best ones out there. So this is the display switch, and you've basically got the same deal here. You've got a top and bottom, so a 2-channel switch. But in the other hand, right in the middle, you've got a display. That's what I love about Aqara products. They're always taking normal products to the next level. And I feel like for this display switch, it's no exception. I've got a couple in my studio and it just looks amazing. And it's actually just really useful. Being able to simply look at the time whenever you're walking through a room, it really does give you that futuristic vibe in your smart home, a very smart approach to a light switch. You've got proximity activation, so it only opens up that display whenever you're actually close to it. And all the other obvious features that you would expect from a switch, like power monitoring, etc. Now let's move on to the smart locks category. Now I've pretty much tested almost every single Apple HomeKit smart lock out there. And I feel like the ones that I'm going to be mentioning in this video are by far the most reliable, the most beautiful, and the ones that overall make the most sense, if that makes sense. So starting off with the Level Lock Plus. Now it is a deadbolt smart lock. And why people love this smart lock so much is that it basically does not look like a standard smart lock. It is Matter compatible, so if you've got someone in your home that doesn't have an iPhone, it will obviously still work. All the smart features will obviously work for them. The best thing about it, it's got Apple HomeKit support, which is one of the most underrated features in the Apple ecosystem, which basically allows you to simply tap your iPhone or Apple Watch to the smart lock and it will automatically unlock or lock itself. If you don't have any battery on your iPhone, it will still work since it uses NFC. There's also a bunch of ways to unlock it, obviously via a physical key, via the Apple Home app, via the Level app, or even you've got a physical keypad as well that is sold separately that is also very reliable. The best thing about codes and keypads is that you can give guests access to friends and family, or maybe you've got a party over and you don't want to keep on opening the door. You can create a one-day party code, for example, and you can give access to all of those friends via a code. Another one of my favorite smart locks out there is the Aqara Smart Lock U300. Now this smart lock kind of has everything all in one. It does look like a smart lock, not like the Level Lock Plus. The Level Lock Plus shines because it doesn't look like a smart lock. This one does look like a smart lock, but it's got all of those advanced features as well. You don't have to buy a separate keypad. You've already got a keypad already built into the smart lock. You've got a fingerprint sensor right in the door handle, which is obviously just very useful. This door lock shines also for having Apple HomeKit compatibility. You've got NFC tags. There's just so many different ways to unlock that door lock. One of my favorite ways is to simply open it via your fingerprint sensor, because it's basically just opening the door and it automatically reads your finger. It's placed at such a right spot that I just absolutely love. It comes both in silver and black. It feels very durable. The quality of it is amazing. I feel like that would probably be one of my favorite smart locks out there. I also wanted to give a quick mention to the Thorbolt X1 and the MK1. Now these are brand new smart locks that have literally just been released a couple months ago, and they really shine because of that affordable price tags. I feel like Apple HomeKit smart locks are always very expensive. They're made out of very, very premium materials, and this one still looks great and has all of those Apple HomeKit features and all of those smart features that you would expect, including guest codes. You've got a PIN code, you even got a fingerprint sensor, so very advanced features, and it comes at a very affordable price tag compared to all of the competitors. There's two different models, the MK1 and the X1. Both of them have its benefits and its downsides. I've actually made an entire video about these smart locks. If you want more info, it's will obviously be linked down below in the description. Anyways, highly, highly recommend. Now let's move on to security cameras, and starting off with doorbells. Now, I've been using the Logitech Circle View doorbell for a very long time. If I'm gonna be honest, it is a very old product, but it still works for me. And that's why I wanted to still include it in this video, because as I mentioned in the beginning, I feel like the best thing that a smart home product can have is reliability. And the Logitech Circle View doorbell hasn't missed once. You can use it wired or with batteries. Every single time someone rings the doorbell, you'll see who's there on your Apple Watch. Even when you're watching something on your Apple TV, it will show up right there on the top right, which is super cool. The quality of it is pretty decent, and I've got zero connectivity issues. And I just love the design of it because it feels very, very premium. Now, if you want a more modern and way much more advanced in terms of features, if you want the best doorbell out there, I wouldn't necessarily say it's the Logitech one, even though it's the one that I use in my home, but it's definitely the best one is definitely Aqara. Aqara actually just launched their Doorbell camera hub G410, which also acts like a smart home hub. You've got an 175 field of view, so extremely wide angle view, so you can get all of your front door porch, for example. Infrared night vision with full HomeKit secure video. You've got a bunch of AI features like package detection. It will know who's in the front door, so it will detect, oh, okay, your mom is walking by. Oh, okay. So it will detect who's walking down your front door. If it's an unknown person, maybe it's your wife, maybe it's your friend, it will tell you the name of the person. Even dog detection, which is crazy. And you can even get 24/7 local recording if you hook it up to a wire. And the best thing about Aqara is its ecosystem that they've built. Because with Apple Home, there's obviously tons of automations that you can do, but once you use Aqara's ecosystem, you can take those automations also to the next level. Now, next up isn't a doorbell, but it is one of the best security cameras out there, which is Aqara's brand new G100 security camera. It is extremely compact, and I feel like Aqara has really nailed their design here. It is weather ready, so you can place it outdoors or indoors, and it looks very Apple friendly, especially this white color that I'm just obsessed with. Why it's great? You've got 2K quality, 140 field of view, so very wide angle as well. You've got a color spotlight, so at night it will turn on. You've also got night vision, an IP68 water resistance, so if you want to place that outdoors, it won't damage itself. HomeKit secure video, the ability to plug in a micro SD card. Highly recommend. Now let's talk about those products that make your smart home a little bit more fun, because sure, we all know about smart lights and security cameras. Have you ever seen a smart purifier that is Apple HomeKit, for example? Yeah, I didn't think so. I personally use Airversa's air purifiers. I've actually got pretty much one in every room in my home. And I didn't think I needed one until I tried one out and I saw the quality of air that I was breathing. I opened up my filter and saw just so much crap after a month of use. I love the fact that it has a color ring, so depending on the air quality, it will turn green, yellow, or red. You've got sleep modes and auto modes. Auto mode will basically turn up or turn down depending on the air quality, and the sleep is a very silent mode that you basically feel like it's off. You can check the air quality with Apple HomeKit as well. You can control everything with Siri. It's just great. Now, something that I was very excited to come to Apple Home are robot vacuums. And the first one to ever adopt this was Roborock Seros Z70. Now I know this is such an expensive robot vacuum, but it truly is a top tier robot vacuum. It really feels like it's a robot vacuum that's coming from the future. It's literally got an arm that comes and extends to clean your home, to clean your socks. It picks it up and leaves it wherever you want to. Now, I find it very useful, obviously, if you've got kids, and maybe it can clean your kids' toys. If you've got pets, it can clean your pets' toys. And apart from that really fun arm that it has that just shocks me every time I see it in action, is simply the fact that it's a great robot vacuum. In terms of its suction power, the mopping is great. The docking station auto cleans itself, and it's actually beautiful as well. It feels very premium. Next up is a product that I've literally got everywhere. I've actually got one right here under my table. I've got them everywhere in my home, and they are Flic buttons. Now, thanks to its Matter-enabled hub, it allows you to connect those buttons and do automations with those buttons inside of Apple Home. So you can pretty much do everything that you would expect from a button. You can program a one tap, a double tap, and a hold to do whatever you want. I usually always use it for lighting or for different scenes in my home. There's one scene that I can tap and my blinds go down and the light turns on in my TV and my Apple TV turns on. There's ones that I've got here in the studio, which literally the studio lights, my big YouTube lights, turn on and turn off. I've got one in my front door, so whenever I leave, all the lights turn off, so I don't have to say, Siri, turn the lights off. I can simply tap a button and just go. Now let's move on to the Eve Energy Strip. Now, what I love about this Energy Strip is that it feels extremely premium. It is very heavy because it's got this beautiful aluminum look. You've basically got 3 smart plugs into one strip, and you can control every single one of those plugs individually in Apple Home. I've got one in my living room that controls my fish tank heater and 2 different mushroom lamps that I've got in my living room. It's also perfect to group multiple lamps into one. It is definitely on the pricey side, but definitely worth it if you're looking to upgrade your smart home. I couldn't talk about something premium without talking about the most premium product I've got in my smart home, and that is my Sonos setup. Now, I know this isn't technically an Apple HomeKit product, but since it's connected to my Apple Apple TV, which is Apple HomeKit compatible, I wanted to tell you either way. So my Sonos setup is composed by the Sonos Arc Ultra, 2 Sonos Era 300, and the Sonos Sub. It is so overkill for my apartment, and that's why I love it so much. Every time I sit down and watch a movie, I'm always amazed at the sound quality that comes from it. I love listening to music on it because it's got Dolby Atmos that is compatible with spatial audio on Apple Music. And it just shakes, everything just shakes my apartment so much. And it truly feels like I'm at the movie theater. I'm at the cinema every time I watch a movie. I obviously have to mention about the heart of my smart home, which is both the HomePod Mini and the Apple TV. I've got a bunch of HomePod Minis around my apartment so I can activate voice controls and control my smart home. They act as hubs as well, and they look incredibly beautiful. The sound quality that comes from my HomePod Mini is absolutely amazing as well. I know the voice assistant could get smarter, but I still love my HomePod Mini for timers in the kitchen, to listening to music in the bathroom, and then the Apple TV, which is also the hub of my smart home. I love the fact that I've got an Apple ecosystem user-friendly UI on my TV. It is such a powerful device that makes my TV experience just great and snappy. You've got Apple Music and Apple TV and the App Store. Having Siri on my TV to control my smart home as well. I can control all of my security cameras from my Apple TV, and it's just the best way to sit down and relax after a long day. Once again, if you want to shop any of the accessories that I mentioned throughout this video, my favorite HomeKit products will obviously be linked down below in the description. And if you want to keep watching, I've made an entire best videos on only smart locks right here, or more HomeKit accessories right here. And I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.